Buddhananda from International Vedanta Society. I'm based in Varanasi. Uh, I'm welcoming you all into this discourse of Katha Upanishad, into the discussion of Katha Upanishad. Uh, we have started Katha Upanishad. I offer my pranams to everybody. যারা আপনারা দেখছেন তাদের সবাইকে আমার প্রণাম। আমরা কঠোর উপনিষদ শুরু করেছি, কালকে কালকে আমরা বাংলাটাও করব। অনেকদিন পরে উপনিষদ নিয়ে কথা বলছি, তাই একটু পড়াশোনা করতে হচ্ছে, কেননা এতদিন ধরে ভগবদ গীতা নিয়ে কথা বলতাম, তাই উপনিষদ নিয়ে কথা শুরু হয়েছে, তো একটু এই এনার্জি একটু শিফটিং হচ্ছে। তো আমরা কালকে থেকে আমরা বাংলাতে আবার শুরু করব। সো today we are going to study the second canto. In our first part we had studied the first canto, that is when Nachiketa went to the house of Yama. So just a retrospection. Nachiketa was the son of, his father's name was Gautam, his father's name was Bajashravasha, as well as Audalaki. So these are the three names that we find of Nachiketa in the Katha Upanishad, of the father of Nachiketa in the Katha Upanishad. So he was performing a yagna, that is Vedic sacrifice. The Vedic sacrifice was known as Bishwajit Yagna. So while performing this Bishwajit Yagna, people who perform Bishwajit Yagna, the purpose of performing Bishwajit Yagna is this, that they want to go to heaven. So as we know that Vedanta or Vedas means knowledge. So Vedas are basically divided into three parts. One is the Karma Kanda, that is where there is this rites and rituals. The next one is Brahmana, when people start to practice it. And the last one is, one is Karma Kand, the next one is Upasana Kand, and the third one is Gyan Kanda or Upanishad. So the first one is Karma Kandiya. Karma Kanda means, it talks about rites and rituals. All these sacrifices, all these rites, rituals, festivals, it talks about all this. So that is called Karma Kanda. Then when people start to practice this Karma Kanda into their life, and try to get connected with the supreme reality or the supreme self, that is called Upasana Kanda. And the last one is Upanishad, where one becomes one with consciousness or the absolute reality. So the aim of Karma Kanda is to attain heaven, Swarga. There is this conception of Swarga, where, like in this Katha Upanishad, it is said, Swarga loke nabhayam kinchanasti natatratvam jaraya bibheti. This we have this. Swarge means this is this perception of Swarga. What is it called? Swarge loke nabhayam kinchanasti natatratvam cha jaraya bibheti ubhete tirthavasanat pipase shokadigo modate swaroke. So this is the what is that? Let me see. Yeah, Swarge loke nabhayam kinchanasti natatratvam na jaraya bibheti उभे तीर्थ आसनाया पिपासे शोकादिगो मोदते स्वर्गलोके. So there is this, one idea. There's idea of in heaven where swarge loke nabhayam kinchanasti, where there is no fear of death. So it says that when a person attains heaven, he goes beyond death. Na tatratvam jaraya bibheti, and there people, even because there is no death, so people don't get old age. So there is no old age also. Everybody is young. And then Ubhe Tirtha Asanaya Pipase, and there people have no worries about eating or drinking because they don't have hunger or thirst. So they are all happy, contented. Shokadi go modate swargaloke, and they are all happy. They dwells in happiness. Why? Because they have gone past all griefs. So this is called swarga. So there is this conception of swarga, and it says that there are certain rituals. When a man performs these rituals, then they can go to swarga. Means they can go and get this, attain this one which has been said. So Nachiketa's father was very keen to attain Swarga, and for that he was performing this ritual called Bishwajit Yagna. So here, what it says is that if a person if a person if a person performs this Bishwajit Yagna, one of the main thing about this yagna is this, that you need to give up everything. You need to give up everything. Okay. Now, when his father was giving up, when his father was donating, then Nachiketa saw that his father was giving away those which he did not want, or which were very, very, useless. Not only to them, but to the, and it will be useless. All it will pitodaka dagdatrina dugdhadoha nirindriya ananda namate nama, means those cows which have already their last water, means the cow that his father was giving did not have the capacity to even drink. Dagdhatrina means he has already eaten his last fodder, so he was also not able to eat. Dugdhadoha, and then he was not able to milk. Nirindriya, and all his senses were all all his senses were all defective, means his senses were all they were not working at all. So this kind of cattle, this kind of cow his father was giving away. And if a person gives this kind of thing, then what happens? That this person will attain Ananda Nama Lokastam Gachatita Dadata, means these people will attain the loka, or the space called Ananda, where there is no joy at all, where there is no Ananda. And then he's this 5-year-old boy, he was very perplexed what to do. Means my father is doing such a big work, but only because of this, only because of this what he's doing now, he is going to have just the reverse results. He was performing this yagna for heaven, but ultimately he is going to get hell. And that is why, to make his father aware of his misdeed, to make his father aware about his faults, he told his father, Sahovacha Pitaram Kasmai Mam Dasyasiti, means he went and told his father, "Oh father, whom are you giving me? Because I am also your I am also your possession. I am a 5-year-old child, so you should also give me to somebody." And then at the foot of rage, his father told, "I'm giving you to Mrittu, that is death. Mrittuve Tvam Dadamiti, I'm giving you to death." Means, you go and die. Now Nachiketa goes to the house of Yama, and there Yama is not there. Yama is not present in the house. So Nachiketa waits for Yama outside his house, without food, without drink, and without a house. And when Yama comes, he sees that a Brahman boy, a small boy, is standing outside my house for 3 days without food and water. Means it's a big, it's a big sin that I've done. Because a person who comes to your house is like a sun, is like a fire. So when you need to treat the fire, you need to treat fire with water, means with respect, with reverence. But here he was, he was not taken care of. So to make good of this, he said that I am giving you 3 boons. You can ask 3 boons from me. So the first boon was that when I go back to my father should accept me. Means by saying this, he had, he had attained immortality. That death could not, could not capture him. He went beyond the clutches of death. And then uh, the next one was about the Vedic Yagna that his father was doing to attain heaven. And Yama explained everything about him. And then he said that, I'm going to name this Yagna after you. It will be named Nachiket Yagya. Now the third one. Now the third boon. What was the third boon? He said that uh, Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye. There's a doubt in every human mind about Yeyam prete, means people who have already departed, people who are dead, about them. What is the doubt? Astiti ke nayam astiti chaike, whether they live after death or they don't live. I want to know about this. Now, when Nachiketa said this, Yama knew that Nachiketa is asking for that knowledge which is the supreme knowledge, the knowledge of the self, the knowledge of the soul. And this knowledge was not even, accessible to the gods. This knowledge is not even accessible to the gods. So, that is why he said that, you need to ask something else. I cannot give it to you. Devair atrapi vichikitsa pura. That the thing that you are asking, the question that you are asking, the one that you want to know, even the gods doesn't know the truth. And why do you want this? Don't ask this. You can ask anybody. You can ask any other thing. Then Nachiketa said that if this question is not known, if the answer of this question is not known even by the gods, then I definitely would like to know this, because I will never get a person as adept as you who can answer me this question. When Nachiketa said this, then Yama started to give him options. All the options. You see Satayu Putra Potran Vrinishwa. You ask for, thousands of son and grandson. Okay. Bahun Pashun Hasti Hirannam Ashwan. You ask as many animals as you want. You ask for horses, you ask for deer, you ask for, elephants, whatever you want, you can ask. And then Bhumer Mahad Ayatanam Vinishwa, and you can ask me as much land you want. But don't ask this one. The one that you have asked, to know about the truth of the self. What happens to the self after death, means what happens to the soul, means you need to know the knowledge of the soul, the knowledge of the self. You need to know what is consciousness, which is very, very, difficult to understand, which is very, very difficult to attain. And that is why Yama is giving, Yama is giving him options. But then also, while he had said this, he saw that Nachiketa was unmoved. Nachiketa did not, was not at all excited by all the, all the temptations that Yama had produced before him. You take this, you take this. For a little boy, what happens? If a little boy comes, you can give him these chocolates, you can give him this, you can give that, and he's very happy. But here, Nachiketa was given the whole universe, everything, but he was not happy. He was firm in his resolution. He was firm in his resolution, and he wanted to know what is the truth. And then Yama said that, ye kama durlabha mrittuloke, all those, all those desires which are completely, impossible for a person, for a human being to attain in this world. I'm giving you all those desires. Everything that it means anything that you want, I'm giving you. But still, Nachiketa did not, move. He was unmoved. He was unmoved. He was very, very, steady in his own integrity. He did not move, and he kept on in his resolve to know the self. So, after all this, then Nachiketa said, "See, you see, I don't need this. I don't need this. You tell me the truth of knowledge, the truth of the self. That is what I know." And the last thing that we had read was this: Yasmin nidam vichikit simti mrityu yat samparaye mahati bruhinastat yoyam baro gudam anu prabrishto nanyam tasman nachiketa brinute. I just want to know the entity which remains within the depth of my heart. That's all I want to know. I don't want to know these things that you are giving me, these all these schemes that you are giving me. I don't want them. I just want to know the reality which is within my heart. That is why I want to know. And this is where we stopped in our last part. So now it's the second part. It's called the Second Cantos. Here Yama is speaking. What is he saying? Anyak shreyo anyat utaiva preyaste ube nanarte purushagum shinitaha. Now we need to go very slowly, okay? Because this is Upanishads. This is Upanishads. Means when we are doing this Bhagavad Gita class, it had got a rhythm. But this is Upanishad. We need to go very slow because these are the words of the master. These are the words of the Rishi. So we need to listen to this very carefully. And while we listen to this, while we listen to the words of Yama, at the same time, while you're listening to these words, at the same time, try to introspect within your mind. Try to introspect within your mind what is the condition, the kind of mental condition you have. Just try to compare what is the state of mind that you should have. The state of mind that you should have has been said in the Upanishads. Yama is going to say this, the state of mind that we need to have. And when you listen to this, then you compare the state of mind where we are. So when you know your reality, when you know where you are standing at right now, then only there is this scope to move forward. Then only we can move forward and we can come to this place. Most of the spiritual aspirants, many spiritual aspirants, they do an injustice to themselves. While they listen to this, while they listen to these scriptures, while they listen to these words, eternal words, they think that they understand this. They think that they are this. They think that they are this. And that is the blunder that they do. Whenever you are listening to these words, always try to compare yourself with them. See the difference. See the difference where you are, what is your mental state, and the mental state which has been told. Compare the mental state and then try to come near to this. And if you do like this, then you will see that just by this but just by this endeavor, by just this endeavor to come near to what has been said, at one point you will attain the state of samadhi, you will attain the state of enlightenment. Whenever you are a seeker, always you need to have a inquisitive mind. You need to have a very, very keen mind. If you think that you know everything, if you think that you know everything and this is just I'm listening because I love to listen this. I've seen many people have this kind of attitude. Oh, Katha Upanishad, I love it, but did you really get enlightened? But what kind of benefit that you have got from this? No, nothing. So one is called intellectual knowledge, one is called intellectual knowledge, and the other is called spiritual knowledge, the knowledge which comes from within. The knowledge which comes from within. So try to reach to the point. Try to reach to the point where you will find that the knowledge is, you are connected to that knowledge. You are connected to that innermost knowledge which is there in the innermost part of your existence, which you can recognize as you. This is me. This is me. Everything is the outer part. This one, this one which is unmanifested, this one which cannot be expressed, this one which cannot even be thought. This is me. You cannot think about it, you cannot talk about it, you cannot express this, still you can feel oneness with that. That is when you have attained knowledge. So the best way to approach a spiritual life is to always have this notion within you that I know nothing. I know nothing. I am just a seeker. I'm just a seeker. With every step I learn. With every step I learn. Okay? So now Yama is saying, what is he saying? Anyak shreyo anyat utaiva preyaste ube nanate purushagum shinitaha tayo shreyo adanadasya sadhu bhavati hiyate tharda preyo brinite. What does it say? He said, there are some, anya shreyo anyat utaiva preyas ube nanate purusham. There are two things. There are two things in this world. One is the preferable things which are, which will lead you towards betterment, towards your good. One path is the path of preference. It is going to lead you towards your good. And the other path is the path of pleasure, prayer. That is going to lead you towards, towards darkness. It says these two paths, bind the good and the bad. These two paths, the good people, they are bounded by preferable thoughts, preferable path, and the bad people. Here, the bad means people who are not spiritual, people who are materialistic, people who are of this world. They, worldly people who like these worldly things. These are the people that they talk about. So so the bad people here, bad people means people who are worldly, who do not want to have spiritual knowledge. these people are bounded by pleasurable path. They always are attracted towards those pleasurable path. Then Shreyascha Preyascha Manushya Metastau Samparitya Vivinakti Dhira. The same thing he says. These two things, Shreya and Preya. The preferable and the pleasurable. The preferable and the pleasurable, these two are the two paths which bind the wise man and a normal human being. Both. In case of a wise man, the preferable path it binds. He gets bounded to the preferable path. And for a normal human being, for a materialistic person, he gets bounded with the pleasurable path. Then it says, Shreyo hi dhiro bi preyaso brinite, preyo mando yoga kshemat brinite. The Shreya, the people who are wise, people who have clean-hearted, people who are clean-hearted, people who are aspirants, they always choose the preferable path. Though this preferable path is going to bind them, still they choose the preferable path by discriminating the pleasurable. They discriminate which path to partake, which is the path that I need to which is the path that I need to follow. They discriminate whether I need to follow the preferable path or I need to follow the pleasurable path. And by discrimination, they accept the preferable path. They accept the preferable path, and the materialistic people who are not, here it says the fool. Why they are considered to be fool? Because they do not know the truth of this world, and they don't care about the truth of this world, and that is why they are fools. They see the world. They see the world as it is shown. They never question what is beyond this. What is the truth of everything that I see? They don't question. They don't inquire. They take everything at its face value, and that is why they are all fools. These people, they have always chosen the pleasurable path. And because they have chosen the pleasurable path, they have always received everything which is inferior. Whatever they have received is inferior, and the protection that they have is also an inferior protection, because they have chosen the pleasurable path. But people who have chosen the preferable, they always have superiority. Then it says, Satam priyan priya rupangsha kavan avidhana nachiketas sakshi. Nachiketa, while you have been given all those temptations, well, I have given you so many temptations. I have told you to have thousands of son and grandsons. I have given you so much wealth. I have shown you temptations of so much desires. But you have discriminated within your mind everything, and you have just gotten rid of all those temptations. You did not get tempted. You did not get attracted to those which I have shown you. While I was giving you all those options, while I was presenting you everything which were desirable, and those desires which anybody could have gotten attracted, but you always had a discriminating mind. You always thought about it. You did not give up. You always had your feet on your ground. You did not give up, and you have discriminated, and you have taken that which was preferable. Naitam Sringam Vittamaim Vapto Yasyam Majjanti Bahava Manushyaha. People who are hankering after wealth. In this world, everybody is hankering after wealth. And when they are given this opportunity to grab the wealth, they will all run after wealth. I have given you that opportunity to have this, wealth, Hiranyagarva. I have given you this opportunity to have Hiranyagarva. What is Hiranyagarva? Anything but, it's such a thing. It's such a power. It's such a power by which you can create your own desires. You don't need to run after any desire. What happens? We have desires. Our mind creates desires, and these desires comes to us, and then we run after those desires. Now, Nachiketa was offered Hiranyagarva. Hiranyagarva means it is such a power, it's such a knowledge by which he could himself create those desires and attain them and enjoy them. But even after, presenting this Hiranyagarva by Yama, the Lord of Death, Nachiketa did not accept. Nachiketa wanted to have the glimpse of truth. Nachiketa wanted to know the truth. What is the truth of the self? You tell me that. I don't need all these things. He says, Yama says, that I have given you that wealth after which the whole world is running. But you have not accepted that. You are only looking for the answer of the self. Dure mete viparite vishuchi avidya cha vidyeti jnata vidya bhipsinam nachiketasam manye natva kama bahavo lolupanta. It says, Yama says, the knowledge that you seek is very, very far from those who are immersed into ignorance. People who like ignorance, people who want to be within ignorance, for them the knowledge of the self is very, very far. Vidya bhipsitam nachiketasam manye. And I consider you, O Nachiketa, I consider you to be the most suitable person to receive this knowledge. Why? Natva kama bahavo lolupanta. Because even after showing so much of desires, after giving you so much of temptations, you did not become greedy. You did not become tempted. I've given you so many options. You take this, you take that. I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that, but you did not do that. You are always still in your own, in your own perception, your own pursuit. You do not deflect. So it says, Nachiketa, you are the one. Because this knowledge, when you talk about this knowledge, you need to determine who is suitable for this knowledge. That's called qualification. Do you have the qualification? And what is the qualification? The qualification is being, it's called mumukshu. Having this utmost desire to liberate. Having this utmost desire for liberation. This is the qualification. So a person who has this utmost desire for liberation, what will he do? He will always seek to know the knowledge by which he can liberate, by which he can attain salvation. He will never go into those by which, you will again fall into the pit. You will again fall into the pit. You will again fall into this darkness, this web of Maya. You will fall into the web of Maya. You will never do this. He will never do this. So when Nachiketa was presenting to him everything that was, just alluring Nachiketa into this web of Maya. Come on, fall into this. But Nachiketa did not do that. Nachiketa had this very firm mind, and he was completely, he was completely steady on his own resolution to know this knowledge. So he is the real, he's the real mumukshu, a person who seeks only salvation. And a person who seeks only salvation is the one who is suitable to know this knowledge. So, Yama, the guru, he says, Nachiketa, yes, you are the one who is suitable for this knowledge. When you go to a master, what we do is we try to test the master. Is the master, adept? Is the master, suitable enough? Does he has knowledge? Does he has knowledge? So we always test him. At the same time, the master also tests us. He also sees whether this person who has come to me, he is suitable for this knowledge or not. And when he sees that he is suitable for this knowledge, then only the master imparts this, eternal knowledge into his heart. If the master sees that he is not suitable for this knowledge, he will not speak at all. So when, Yama is saying, Nachiketa, you are the one who is suitable to know this knowledge, that means Yama is also ready to impart the whole knowledge to him. Yama is also, he is also there. He's also there. He is also giving him the whole knowledge, whatever it is, self-knowledge, to his disciple Nachiketa. Avidyaya mantare vartamana swayam dhira panditam manyamana. Well, the condition of this world, what is the state of this world? In this world, people, ignorant people, they know nothing about the self. They know nothing about this knowledge. They are all ignorant. But these ignorant people, they move around showing as if they are all wise. In this world, wherever you go, you will see people moving around. And and what do they do? They all show themselves to be, very, very knowledgeable. The same thing has been said in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, at one time, Lord Krishna, while he was, getting ready to impart this knowledge of Brahman, the knowledge of the self to his disciple Arjuna, while he was getting ready, at that time, he said this. He said, Yamimang pushpitam vacha prabaddante na vipaschita vedavada rata partha nanyad astiti vadinam kamatmanam sargapara janma karma falapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogescharja gatim prati bhogescharja prasaktanam taya aparita chetasam. The same thing, what Yama is saying, avidyaya mantare vartamana swayam dhira panditam manyamana. They are the same thing, that people who does not have any knowledge within them, they are all ignorant, but they show as if they are, they are enlightened. Lord Krishna says, never take their words seriously. Let them say whatever they want to, but you don't listen to them. Because if you listen to them and if you follow their path, then what will happen? This is what is going to happen. This is what is going to happen. That he is saying. What is he saying? Dadandyamana parichayanti mooda andhe neva niyamana yathandhaha. This is what is going to happen. If you follow a person who does not have the knowledge, the proper knowledge, Who has got a proper knowledge? One who can recognize himself. One who can recognize himself as the self. A person who can say that, yes, I am the self. This is the person from whom you can, you can receive knowledge. He is the only one who can give you knowledge. But a person who, who knows Vedanta, Upanishads intellectually, he can be a professor, but he cannot be a master. He cannot be an instructor of Vedanta, of knowledge. He can give you bookish knowledge, intellectual knowledge, but the knowledge which will, which will open up your heart and illuminate your heart, that knowledge will never come from him. So, these people in whom the knowledge is not there, they move around in this world showing as if they know everything. What they do? The dandamana pariyanti muraha. These people are all fools. They move around. They move around in this world. What do they do? Andhe neva niyamana yatandhaha. When they talk to people, when they give instructions to people, it is like a blind showing the way to a blind. If a blind man shows you the way, what will happen? And here a blind man is showing the way to another blind man. So this is what is happening in the entire world, and that is why everybody is so unhappy. The scenario of this world is this. Why is the world so restless? Why we don't have any peace? Why don't we have any love in this world? It is because people who guide this world, they know nothing about these. They know nothing about peace. They don't know nothing about love. They know nothing about knowledge. People give Nobel Peace Prize. People get Nobel Peace Prize, but have they ever felt peace? What is called peace? No. We talk about peace. The peace that we talk about is external peace, an imposition. It's an imposition. People impose on another person. But peace is something which is going to come from within. It's going to come from within, which doesn't come. So, that is why the scenario of this world is so wretched. The scenario of this world is so helpless. We see everything, but we cannot do anything. Why? Because the blind is showing the way to another blind. That is why we cannot do anything. न संपराय प्रतिभाति बालम प्रमादंतम वित्त मोहेन मूढ़म. A person who is completely, his only focus is on wealth, on material wealth, in this worldly wealth. For him, the subtle knowledge of the self is beyond his reach. The subtle knowledge of Brahman, the subtle knowledge of this Atman, the subtle knowledge of this Atman is beyond reach for a person whose only focus is to attain wealth, worldly wealth. I am loko nasti para iti mani punarvasha ma papadyate me. These people whose only focus is material wealth, material enjoyment, worldly enjoyment, physical enjoyment. They don't know anything about metaphysics. They don't know anything beyond senses, transcendental. They don't know anything about that. For them, everything is in the surface. So people like this, they consider ayam loko nasti para iti mani. These people consider that there is nothing beyond this world. Everything is here and now. Whatever is this is this. There is no outer world. There is no other world. Whatever we have, it is all this. So our work is only to, to enjoy as much as we can. Yamraj says, Punah punar vasamapapadyate me. These people come into my sway again and again. These people come into my web. Means they die again and again. People who only think that this world is the only truth. There is no other world. So when this world is the only truth, then our work is to enjoy in this world as much as possible. Any enjoyment that we can get. So people who consider this, they come into my sway again and again. Again and again they die. Again and again they die. Their journey is from death to death. Okay? But this self, slowly Yama is preparing Nachiketa. Gradually is preparing Nachiketa into this absolute knowledge. Shravanayapi bahubhiryo nalabhya shrinvantopi bahavo yam naviduhu. If you say this to many people, if you say this, if you say this knowledge of the self to others, as much, to many people, you just keep on, you just keep on saying this to people, and also you keep hearing about those. Even then, the self cannot be attained. Even if you keep on saying this to people, or you keep listening to the self-knowledge is not attained. Why? Because to attain self-knowledge, you need to have certain qualities. The first quality is this, that the person who is going to tell you, the person who is going to instruct you should be an adept guru, should be a real guru. He should not have intellectual knowledge. Now, how can I acquire such a guru? Where will I get him? Here it says, Ascharya Vakta Kushalasya Labdha. If you are a real skilled person, skilled means skilled in this path of the self, of spirituality. So what is called skilled? Skilled in the path of spirituality, having spiritual qualities, practicing spiritual qualities. If you can practice the spiritual qualities, or if you do practice spiritual qualities, if you have those inherent qualities within you, then only you will find a person who will instruct you. But how is this person? Ascharya Vakta. This person is an amazement. He's an amazement. He's not a normal human being. This person is an amazement. He's an, when you see him, you just become amazed. He's amazing. He's spectacular. Ascharya Vakta Kushalasya Labdha. Only to them, this kind of amazing teacher is acquired by only to those who are skilled in spiritual traits, spiritual attributes. The mind is disciplined. They have this love for everybody. They can forgive. They're peaceful. they're truthful, they're very sincere, very kind, they're genuine, they have this sameness in speech and thoughts. They speak what they think and think what they speak. There is no, there is no difference between their speech and thoughts. So these people are kushalasya. They are the skilled people. Skilled, these are the skilled people. For them, this Ashcharya Vakta, this wonderful person is going to come into their life. This wonderful person is going to come to their life. Ashcharya Vakta kushalasya labdha. Ashcharya gyata kushalanusishta. And not only this, if you have this skill, if you have the skill of, if you have the skill for spirituality, then you are also a wonder. You will also become a wonder. And for this wonderful aspirant, the guru becomes, the guru also becomes very, very skilled. The guru also is skilled. So it's a vice versa. It's not that, only if you have a guru, then you are going to get everything. No, you need a guru. But how will you have a guru? How will you have a real guru? The only way to have a real guru is to have spiritual qualities within you. Without having without having spiritual qualities, you will never have a real guru. Never have a real guru. So if you see that I need a real guru, what is the way? The only way is to develop yourself according to the, in line with the, spiritual thoughts. What you need to have within you, the character, the spiritual character is already there. It has been spoken in the, Upanishads. It has been spoken in Bhagavad Gita. It has been spoken in different spiritual texts. Just listen to them. Just listen to them and try to practice them in your life. So once you start practicing those in your life, you will see that gradually and spontaneously you have come face to face with an adept master. Okay? Ashcharya Vakta kushalasya labdha. Ashcharyo gyata kushalanusishta. Then na narena varena prokta esha suvigyayo bahuda chinta manah. If a person, if an ignorant person talks about the self, he may know Upanishads by heart. He may know everything, all the slokas. He may by heart them, and when you go to him, he will just keep on repeating the slokas. If you find somebody like that, but he have not attained the self, he have not attained the knowledge of the self. He only has spirit. He only has this intellectual knowledge. Okay, what will happen? Nothing will happen to you. You will just listen, but your heart is not going to open. The knowledge which is there within you will never manifest. And there is every chance that you will get confused, because this person is what? Bahuda chintayamana. He will talk about Brahman in multiple ways. Thinking about, he cannot come to that point where Brahman is one, because he does not have that realization of oneness. Because he does not have this realization of this oneness, he cannot stick into this oneness. He cannot establish Brahman into oneness. He cannot remain in that one. He will always, move around, oscillate within many thoughts, many different thoughts, variant thoughts. And by doing this, he will confuse you. So, to have a spiritual knowledge, you need to have a spiritual guru. And to have a spiritual guru, what do you need? You need spiritual skills already within you. It should be there. You should practice it. Don't blame others. That nowadays there is no guru, I didn't find a guru. Nowadays, no. If you really have spiritual, character within you, you will have a right person by your side. So it says, Na narena varena prokta esha sabhigyayo bahuda chintayamana. If any inferior person gives you this instruction about the self, you are never going to attain self-knowledge. Why? Because he is going to, he is established into manifoldness. He is not established into one. Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti aniyam hyatarka anupramanat. The only way to attain self-knowledge is to listen the knowledge of the self from a person who can recognize himself as the self. Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti. A person who can recognize himself, identify himself. A person who can identify himself as the absolute consciousness. Absolute consciousness. This person is your real instructor. If you listen from this person, you are going to get benefited. Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti aniyam hyatarkam anupramanat. And this knowledge, this Vedanta knowledge, this knowledge of the Upanishads is not based on reasoning, argumentation. People argue. But the knowledge of the Upanishads, the knowledge of Vedanta, the knowledge of the self is based on realization. Swami Vivekananda said, religion is realization. It does not depend upon argumentation, logic, reasoning. So don't go into that path. Don't go into that path. Your priority should be to realize the self. Why I have come to the master? Why I have come to the master? I have come to the master to realize the self, not to learn Vedanta intellectually, so that people can know that I am a scholar. No, not to show others how much what kind of logic I have, or what is my reasoning capacity. No, this is not the aim of Vedanta. This is not the aim of Vedanta. The aim of Vedanta, the aim of Upanishads is to realize, and that is why Yama, he's setting up the standards. He has not started to give the advices. He's just setting up those, standards, setting up rules. You see, these are the rules. You need to follow these rules. Because if you really, if you have to have, a rocket into the space, so you need a certain kind of engine. You need a certain kind of propulsion. And it is going to work, completely differently than any other aerial vehicles. So here you are looking for going beyond the realms of Maya. You are looking for going beyond the realms of ignorance. You are seeking self-knowledge, the absolute knowledge, and for that you need to have certain traits, certain rules. And Yama is, now is setting up those rules. You see, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, reasoning up to a point. Reasoning only to establish yourself into, this. Establish yourself into this, that the only reality is the self. For that you can reason. But after that, you need to renounce reasoning. You need reasoning for to come to this, to this firm resolution that I am the self. To come to this firm resolution, you need this, logic. You need this reasoning. But after you have come to this point, after you have come to this point that the self is the only reality, then you need to renounce reasoning and go beyond reasoning. So this is what he says: Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti. A person who can identify himself as a self, not with argumentation, not with reasoning, but with realization. Only he has this realization of the self, and that is why he can identify himself as the self. Aniyan hyatarkam anupramana. This is very subtle. This is very subtle, and this subtle knowledge cannot be established with reasoning. It can only be established with realization. Naisha tarkena matirapanaya proktanne neva sugyanaya prishta yam tomapa satya dhriti vartasi twadriganno bhuyan nachiketa prashta. Naisha tarkena matirapaneya. This the same thing, proktanne neva sugyananaya preshta. The same thing. This knowledge can only be attained if you are instructed by a person who already has self knowledge, means who already has realized the self. Without self realized master, this knowledge of the self is not possible. So that is he saying, Nesha tarkena, with tarka, with reasoning. With reasoning, this knowledge cannot be realized. It cannot be attained. It can only be attained when you are instructed by a master who identifies himself as the self. And only when a person identifies himself as a self, only when that person gives you this instruction, then only you can attain the self knowledge. Naisha tarkena matirapaneya proktanna neva sugyanaya prishta yang tvamapa satya dhritir vatasi. O Nachiketa, you are very, very firm in your own resolution. You have this very firm conviction. You have this very firm conviction that the self is the only reality. And we need Tadriganyo Bhuyan Nachiketa Prashta, and we need experience like you, O Nachiketa, who has this very firm, resolution, very firm conviction. So it's already 1 hour. Let's stop here. Tomorrow I will give a Bengali class. So on Sunday we can again meet at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much. God bless you.